Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about receiving arrays as pointers in functions. So we have talked about passing arrays to functions. We have talked about both char arrays and int arrays. And if you recall, when we did our char arrays, we said we could pass our char arrays as pointers to functions. And we saw how that worked. And you can watch this video again to see it's the same video that I have in the char array section as to how you can pass a char array to a function as a pointer, and it works exactly the same way. Now we're going to see how to pass an int array to a function as a pointer. And so here is the int array in main, and I randomly put some values in it. I took the index and multiplied it by 2 and added the same index to it. It gets a list of random values, and random meaning, some values based on the index. And then I call this function, and notice how we pass the array. By default, arrays are passed by reference. There is no other way to do it. Arrays are passed by reference. So here's just a different syntax. So we're going to take this and put it in Python tutor to just see how this passing by pointer, how the array is represented. Now remember, we've talked about this. The name of the array is a constant pointer. So this name of the array from here that we are passing is a constant pointer anyway, which is the address of the first element that gets passed to this pointer that we create in the function. So this is just a memory to hold an address. So the minute this address goes in here, we are looking at this array in main. Okay, remember this is a little different from passing regular pointers of the int data type or the float or simple data types, because simple data types by default, they are not passed by reference. Okay, so keep it separate. So the array is passed by reference. The name of the array refers to a constant pointer. So when we pass it and we copy it into a pointer here, this pointer is essentially looking at your array in main. So if you turn on visualize execution, this is kind of how it looks in memory, and it's good to do this so you know exactly what's happening with your array when you pass it to a function. However you pass it, it doesn't matter. It's getting passed by reference. So here is your visualization. Here your array has 10 elements. Notice in main we have the stack, we have the heap. Nothing is on the heap right now. The array is in the stack. You click next, we go into the for loop, and there's my I starting at 0, and we are multiplying it, adding 2, you get a 2, you get a 0 in the first one, you get a 3 in the next one, because the I is 1, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. Then the index is 2, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6, and so on and so forth, just simple math, where I multiply the index by 2 and then add the index. So those are the numbers you get as I build the array. Okay, that's the last of it. The array is built. Now we call this function called mult. Now here's where I want you to pay close attention. Notice we have what is called a list PTR here on the right hand side in the memory in the function. And the list PTR initially has a question mark. Then when I click next, as soon as we go into the function, it is pointing to the first element in the array in main. So there's no difference in the way it is passed. It's exactly the same thing. Instead of using square bracket syntax, we have a star list PTR, and the list PTR is just a pointer, which is, again, nothing but the name of the array is a pointer as well. And so now whatever we do to the array is happening in main because we are referring to the original array. And I'm multiplying the whole thing by 3. Every element is getting multiplied by 3. And there is the last of that. We are done, we go back, and then we go through a for loop and print the array. As we print the array, notice I didn't put any spaces, so they're all stuck to each other. Doesn't matter. But that's what gets printed. So that's how the array, when it's being passed as a pointer, that's how it looks.